Welcome back to the FlipNerd.com REI Classroom, where experts from across the real estate investing industry teach you quick lessons to take your business to the next level. And now, let's meet today's expert host.
Hi again, it's Marc Schwartz, your personal family lawyer, here as your host of the REI Classroom. Today our topic is going to be, how do we hold title to our real property?
This REI Classroom real estate lesson is sponsored by VirtualStaffNow.com.
Now, some attorneys will tell you that you should own your property in an LLC or a legal entity, and I think those are great ideas, and those are right for a lot of people. But I'm actually going to be talking to you from an estate planning standpoint. So all of these things that I'm going to talk about today apply both for estate planning and non-estate planning, but hopefully you'll understand what I mean as I go through. So I'm going to talk a little bit about from California's perspective, but it applies nationally. The most common form of ownership is probably joint tenancy. And I feel that that's popular because it's really easy. The word joint is in there. And people, especially who are married, feel that it's a great way to hold title. The problem with joint tenancy is that there's not a lot of control. Now, for those of you who don't know, joint tenancy is a legal magic where when you die, your interest will automatically vest in those people who you own the property with. So in a husband-wife situation, if the husband dies, the wife will automatically, by operation of law, own the property. The advantage of joint tenancy is it avoids probate, which is a court proceeding where assets are transferred. That's the good part. The bad part is that lack of control. So for example, I had a situation recently where a client called me up. Her husband had died, and her husband had owned the property as joint tenants with his siblings. And the wife wanted to know what happened to her interest. And she wanted to know, how does she get it? And I told her, unfortunately, you don't. Because the husband owned it joint tenancy with his brothers and sisters, the brothers and sisters now own the property. So joint tenancy is not the greatest thing. And you can also imagine that same scenario happening maybe in second marriages. So be very careful when someone tells you to own your property in joint tenancy because there's some big drawbacks. In California, we offer something called community property. Not all of you have that. Community property is great, but you're still going to go through that probate proceeding on the second death. And by the way, on joint tenancy, I told you it avoids probate on that first death. It's not going to avoid probate on that second death. So for those of you who own real property, the really best solution is to own it into a living trust. And even if you have that property in an LLC, that LLC should have as its owner a living trust. What a living trust does that's better than all of the other things is it gives you complete control. It avoids probate, not only on the first death, but the second death. And it also has some really great tax advantages. We can talk a little bit more about that, but if you own property in joint tenancy, you may not be getting the full tax advantage when you go to sell the property. Whereas with a living trust, the people who inherit the property won't have to pay any taxes when they sell it. So those are some of the highlights of things that you may want to consider when owning joint tenancy. Laws are constantly changing. California actually just passed a law called transfer on death deeds. So that's another option. But we can talk about that more on another classroom. But for right now, just remember, own your property in a living trust. And if you own an LLC, have that LLC have the living trust own the LLC. And if you have any more questions about this, my name is Marc Schwartz, in the law office of Marc Schwartz, and I'm here to help. Thank you very much.
VirtualStaffNow.com is the leading virtual assistant provider for real estate investors. As busy real estate investors, there's nothing more valuable than our time. And VirtualStaffNow.com not only helps you find the right real estate virtual assistant for your business, they train them on an ongoing basis, manage them daily to make sure they're staying productive and effective. And in the event they're not the right fit or need to be replaced, they handle that for you too. Whether you need 1 or 100 virtual assistants for your team, start the process right now at VirtualStaffNow.com. Please note, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in this program do not necessarily reflect those of FlipNerd.com or any of its partners, advertisers, or affiliates. Please consult professionals before making any investment or tax decisions, as real estate investing can be risky. Are you a member yet of FlipNerd.com, the hottest real estate investing social community online? If not, you can join for free in less than 30 seconds and get access to hundreds of off-market deals, vendors in your market to help you in your business, and you can start networking with thousands of other investors just like you. Get your free account now at flipnerd.com. Please check out the Flipnerd family of real estate investing shows, where you can access hundreds of expert interviews, quick tips, and lessons from leaders across the real estate investing industry. They're available at flipnerd.com/shows, or simply search for Flipnerd in the iTunes Store.